It is with great pleasure that I present this evening's inductees. In a few minutes, you will hear some of the outstanding accomplishments of each new member. Their endeavors are impressive, and our hope is that they will carry this ethic forward as they become citizens of the world. I'd like to now welcome our principal, Dr. Whitney Smith, who would like to make a few remarks in celebration of this very special occasion.
Hi everyone. I'd like to thank the faculty, administration, and the Board of Education of the Mineola School District for their important role in helping our students to get to this point in their lives. Without their support of the wonderful programs offered by our school district, opportunities like this would not be available for our students. I would like to thank the most important people in the audience, our amazing students and their parents. For without their support and motivation to be the best that you can be, there would be no National Honor Society induction ceremony to celebrate. The National Honor Society is the nation's premier organization established to recognize outstanding high school students. More than just an honor roll, National Honor Society serves to recognize the students who have demonstrated excellence in the areas of scholarship, leadership, service, and character. You are not only academic high achievers, you represent so much more than that. You demonstrate scholarship, leadership, service, and high moral character on a consistent basis. You embody a combination of passion and perseverance that is a hallmark of high achievers in every domain. A definition renowned University of Pennsylvania psychologist Angela Duckworth has called grit. Your passion and dedication in so many different areas fill our hearts and make our school and community a better place. This is a celebration of your accomplishments, albeit not the way we wanted it to be. Of course, I would love to have been all together in our auditorium with your families and friends. I miss seeing all of you tremendously and can't wait for us to be together again. In conclusion, I would not only like to thank our inductees and our seniors for their efforts, both inside and outside of the classroom, but to your families and teachers, coaches and club advisors for raising fine human beings and the future of our society. Thank you.
Before we focus on our new inductees, I'd like to acknowledge the National Honor Society officers of the Mineola High School chapter, co-presidents Morgan Brady and Ankita Patel, co-vice presidents Anushka Patel and Samuel Leviton, and our social media specialists Nicole Lachevsky and William Beatty. I'm very grateful for their dedication to service.
Our NHS members started the year by volunteering to serve as tour guides for our school's Meet the Teacher Night and ambassadors during Superintendent Conference Day, and a t-shirt fundraiser to raise money for the Mineola Holiday Drive.
For the 11th year in a row, we organized the holiday drive for 17 Mineola families in need. We partnered with Key Club to select, collect, and deliver over 500 wrapped toys, gifts, and gift cards to some very grateful families in our district. Through the incredible generosity of families, faculty, and staff, and the time and effort of our National Honor Society members, in our district school were helped.
The National Honor Society and the RISE class partnered together for our first fundraiser for the Children's Tumor Foundation selling NF bracelets. Neurofibromatosis, also known as NF, is a genetic disorder that affects 1 in every 3,000 people. All proceeds went towards the Children's Tumor Foundation's mission to drive research, expand knowledge, and advance care in the NF community.
It is also important to note that many of the students presenting here tonight spend countless hours taking time out of their busy schedules to serve as tutors for our Student Service Center.
We're extremely proud that entry into the National Honor Society includes a rigorous process, and even once inducted, students continue to exhibit the qualities required for membership throughout their years at Mineola High School.
It has been my pleasure to work with my outgoing Honor Society members, and I am honored to welcome this incoming group. We will now hear from some of our officers who will explain the 4 pillars or qualities that are required of each of our members.
Leaders take the initiative to aid others in a wholesome manner throughout their daily activities. Leaders sacrifice their personal interests in order to yield to the need of others. Leaders need wisdom and self-confidence to effect change in aspects of all of their lives. Some examples of leadership can include, but are not limited to, leading group activities in the classroom and in the community, being an officer in a club, being a primary chair or drum major of the band or the orchestra, or being the captain of a sports team.
Scholarship is characterized by commitment to learning. A student is willing to spend the necessary time to cultivate his or her mind in the quest for knowledge. This pillar can only be achieved through diligence and effort. Scholarship means always doing the best work possible, regardless of impending reward.
The pillar of service can be reached in a variety of ways. The willingness to work for the benefit of those in need without compensation or recognition is a quality that is essential in National Honor Society members. As a service club, the National Honor Society is highly concerned with giving its all to the school and community at large. Service reaches further than artistic performances, athletics, or membership of a club. It is service that shows our willingness to use our talents to give back to others.
Character is what distinguishes one individual from another. It is the product of constant striving to make right choices day after day. Students with good character demonstrate respect, responsibility, trustworthiness, fairness, caring, and citizenship in all of their actions.
It is with great pleasure that we will now introduce this evening's inductees.
Now we will listen to introductory remarks highlighting some of the outstanding accomplishments of each new member.
It is my pleasure to introduce Miko Ami Khan into the National Honor Society. He is currently a Life Scout in Boy Scout Troop 45 and is an altar server at his local church. A former Assistant Senior Patrol Leader, Miko enjoys helping others and giving back to the community. Congratulations, Miko.
It is my honor to introduce Alexandra Andrade into the National Honor Society. She has been involved in both cheer and drama throughout high school and has taken part in various student service center projects and activities. She has devoted many hours to volunteering and has shown leadership qualities among her faculty and peers. Congratulations, Allie.
It is my pleasure to introduce Natalie Antunes into the National Honor Society. She has been devoted to spending hours each week at practice for varsity cheerleading, rehearsal for drama club, and still found time to participate in student service center activities. She does this all while still managing to do well in school. Congrats to Natalie Antunes.
It is my pleasure to induct Amanda Argueta into the National Honor Society. Amanda has enjoyed participating in volunteer work with the Student Service Center and hopes to participate more in the future. She is a proud member of I Am That Girl, where she could speak her mind and discovered her love for advocacy work. She has been in drama since 8th grade and even got inducted into the Thespian Society her sophomore year. Along with her love for theater, she participates in many music programs such as Big Band, Pep Band, and even Marching Band, where she is lucky to have earned the title of section leader her sophomore year. Congratulations, Amanda.
Congratulations to Grace Bang on being accepted into National Honor Society. She has been involved in many different activities in a multitude of fields, both inside and outside of school. Grace has contributed to the musical productions, spent years volunteering in her church, volunteered as a peer tutor, competed in winter track, and was involved in the FRC robotics team. She shows passion and dedication to all the events that she participates in, all the while helping her peers. Congratulations, Grace.
It is a great pleasure to induct Kristen Bennis into the National Honor Society. She has taken a very active role in the community, volunteering at her local church and the village hall. She is also highly involved in extracurricular activities as a member of the Mineola Marching Band, Chamber Ensemble, and Varsity Softball team. Congratulations, Kristen Bennis.
It is my pleasure to induct Kristen Bennett into the National Honor Society. She has been very involved in her community and extracurricular activities, devoting many hours to marching band, color guard, and softball for multiple years. She is a strong asset to not only the classroom but also her community. Congratulations, Kristen Bennett.
I'm very proud to induct Grace Bridges into the National Honor Society. She has enjoyed being an active participant in the class of 2021's class activities. Ballad classes, carnival night, performing at international night, and homecoming have been just a few of the highlights at Mineola High School. She is so grateful to Coach Kelly for all the hard work and effort she has put into making the varsity cheer team grow and shine. She is also extremely thankful to the teachers that gave up time away from their own families to take an amazing trip to Spain. It was truly a magical learning experience. Outside of the classroom, Grace studied hard and still managed to make competitive Irish dance a part of her schedule. She credits the teachers at Mineola for teaching her about goal setting, time management, and mindset. She was able to use those skills and strategies to win first place at the Mid-Atlantic Regionals and gain entry into the World Championships of Irish Dance. Grace believes in service learning and has volunteered for many years with the Wilson Park Recreation Committee. It has been so much fun bringing fun to her community through egg hunts, parades, concerts, tree lightings, Belmont and Family Fun Day, to name a few. Out of all the amazing things that Mineola High School does, Grace believes that Community Interact is the best of them. She is beyond appreciative to have met so many amazing fellow Mustangs through this experience. Congratulations, Grace Bridges, on your induction to the National Honor Society.
Trista is very involved in athletics and cherishes her experiences of being on the school's soccer and lacrosse teams. Off the field, she participates in class events and community service. During her time off, Trista enjoys her work of helping children grow to love the sport she has and helps them become better during summer camps. She finds joy in supporting her classmates as much as possible and loves attending school events her classmates participate in, like games or productions. Congratulations, Trista.
Zach Bongiovanni has been a student in the Mineola School District since he attended pre-K at Willis Avenue. Zachary is a varsity triathlete that plays golf, basketball, and baseball for Mineola High School with great pride. He also plays travel baseball for the Knights and has played basketball in a youth league for 10 years. Some of his proudest and most fond memories were those in Athletes Helping Athletes with advisor Miss Wideline, as well as PE leadership and varsity baseball with Coach Boringer. He supports his class by participating in fundraisers and ballad classes. As a member of the National Art Honor Society, he set up the high school art shows and decorated for sporting events. Zach aspires to major in business and play baseball in college. Congratulations, Zach.
It's my pleasure to induct Veronica Carr into the National Honor Society. Veronica has not only been an excellent student at Mineola High School, she has also been involved in her community and helping others. Veronica is a peer tutor to struggling underclassmen. Her community also counts on her. She helps with any event that goes on in her town. In addition, Veronica also has other hobbies such as playing sports. Veronica loves playing volleyball for the school and outside of school for her club team. Congratulations, Veronica Carr.
It is my pleasure to introduce Petrov Tushar into the National Honor Society. He has demonstrated resilience and perseverance in all his activities, being involved in many class and athletic activities. Petrov is an example on the field and in the classroom, always willing to help everyone and develop personal growth. Congratulations, Petrov.
Winnie is an enthusiastic and hard-working student who loves giving back to her community and doing things she has passion in. She loves to help her community through hours of volunteering at the Student Service Center. Over the course of her high school years, she has formed many new friendships and relationships with students she peer-tutored and senior citizens she met and helped in lunch months, computios, and a nursing home. She loved the satisfying feeling of being able to help someone and make someone's day, giving back to the wonderful community. She also loves doing things that she is passionate about, including being part of the chamber ensemble and playing the violin, and advancing her knowledge for the future by joining robotics. She also designed her first website to help students around the world gain an insight into American university life, and was able to advise students in the United States, Canada, UK, and Turkey.
It is my pleasure to introduce Yesem Sonaran to the National Honor Society. She has spent many hours working alongside the Student Service Center and giving various hours back to her community. She has taken part in lunch bunch and peer tutoring services since her freshman year. Outside of school, Yesem takes part in private tutoring and also volunteers at her local library. This past summer, she devoted countless hours in helping with St. Nick's nonprofit donation drive for the homeless in the city. Yesem has been involved in many service projects and class activities that has led to this accomplishment of being inducted. Congratulations.
It is my honor to induct Matt Kobos into the National Honor Society. Matt has been part of the Mineola soccer team for 4 years and was captain of the JV team his sophomore year. Matt has actively contributed to his community by participating in a variety of Student Service Center activities. Matt was class vice president for 3 years, demonstrating his leadership in school and to his peers. Congratulations, Matt Kobos.
It is my pleasure to introduce Claire Calera into the National Honor Society. Claire is a part of both the basketball and lacrosse teams where her leadership is highlighted best. Giving back to the community will always be something close to her heart. Congratulations, Claire.
It is my honor to introduce our next new member of the National Honor Society, Matias Contreras. Matias is a student of 3 languages, English, Spanish, and a native language called Guarani. Guarani comes from the natives that lived in the area of what is Paraguay, where Matias's parents are originally from. Knowing that he is from a third world country, Matias embraced his heritage and devoted many hours in helping out others who are in need no matter where they come. By helping out after hours at a soup kitchen or donating clothing, electronics, and toys to families in Paraguay, and helping out in fundraisers here in the United States with close Paraguayan community for those in need. He isn't a big fan of boasting his service, which makes him a humble human being that really just enjoys helping out. Congratulations, Matias Contreras.
It is with excitement that I introduce Kristen Cox into the National Honor Society. She has been a part of the Mineola athletics program for all of her years of high school so far. She participated on the volleyball team, girls lacrosse team, and as an active member of Athletes Helping Athletes. This allows her leadership to shine through. Kristen has also spent a great portion of her time at Mineola High School as a dedicated class member. From attending class meetings and fundraisers to winning the election class treasurer in 10th grade, there's nothing she'd rather spend time doing than being at the high school with her friends. She is excited for her upcoming year and can't wait to see all of her friends and teachers. Congratulations, Kristen.
I will now like to introduce Dominique Kreco into the National Honor Society. She has been involved in different school activities such as cheer, drama, and the Student Service Center. She has made several achievements including becoming the captain of the cheer team and completing over 30 hours of community service in her junior year. Congratulations!
It is a pleasure to induct Katherine Cullen into the National Honor Society. She has been involved in community service in and outside of the school, committing her time to helping many people. Katherine is not only a leader in the classroom, but in her community as well. Congratulations, Katherine Cullen.
Now introducing Deborah Dos Santos into the National Honor Society. Deborah is an active member of Mineola's fine arts programs. She's a member of the drama club, thespian club, and various music ensembles. She has accomplished many concerts with her various music groups. And as much time as she loves spending on the stage, she also devotes a lot of her time to helping people grow. As an active participant of the Mineola Marching Band, this year she had her first leadership position as drum major. It has taught her many leadership skills that she will take outside of the field and into her everyday life. She is very grateful for everybody who has joined her on her journey and helped her along the way, and she is very grateful for her induction into the National Honor Society. Congratulations, Deborah.
It is a pleasure to present a great person, student, and athlete like Jill Stupinon Balthazar. This lady has shown great performance in her studies and in community groups inside and outside of school. She always stands out for wanting to help others without needing anything in return, and it's incredible how much she's done in just 2.5 years of school. Jill has accomplished many great things, such as getting into honors classes, improving her studies, participation in sports, community clubs, and more. She loves helping her classmates when they do not understand something, and she's always giving her best at everything she does. We have seen her participate in many educational activities, and most importantly, helping those who need it, and giving them her love.
And now, introducing Joseph Ferrell. The National Honor Society welcomes a member who is involved in many activities inside and outside of school. He's a distance runner on the track team for all 3 seasons, but participated in stage crew for drama and is an Eagle Scout candidate in his Boy Scout troop. Joseph shows his leadership through the many service projects he has contributed towards in his years of scouting and being one of the leaders in the troop. Congratulations, and once again, welcome Joseph Ferrell.
It is my pleasure to introduce Arianna Etry into the National Honor Society. She has been a well-rounded student athlete while spending her time at Milan High School. Working with students and faculty during the class fundraising, Arianna also worked outside of school on her own time, being a helper at Milan Portuguese School. Spending hours into helping others, she became a great leader, student, and teammate while attending Milan High School. Congratulations, Arianna.
Our next inductee into the National Honor Society is Isabella Galleon. Isabella is a member of the varsity cheerleading team, drama department, and newspaper club. She has spent many hours serving others, both with the Student Service Center and in her community. Congratulations, Isabella.
Daniel Galan is an all-around student, having experience as a leader of a team and a server to his community. His hard work goes beyond his academics and into his responsibility as a certified lifeguard and more. He is devoted to protecting and instructing those he is responsible for. Daniel has devoted many hours to serve his church and many hours to his extracurricular activities and cooperative projects. Daniel is no stranger to the importance of leadership and service and would like to thank all who have supported him through his life. Congratulations, Daniel.
Diana Garcia is a smart, intelligent person that will stop at nothing to achieve what she desires. Even though she is new to Mineola High School, she came in determined to continue her high level of learning at Mineola and jumped headfirst into AP classes. She definitely tries her best and holds herself accountable. She pushes herself to be successful and takes great pride in her work and work ethic. Congratulations, Diana.
It is my pleasure to introduce Yesenia Hanef into the National Honor Society. She has been involved in many service projects and out-of-school activities, devoting most of her time to her community, the Student Service Center, and her schoolwork. She enjoys teaching young swimmers, as well as ballet to kids with disabilities and tutoring. Congratulations, Yesenia.
Now, I'd like to introduce Megan Heckelman into the National Honor Society. Megan is an extroverted personality who loves her position as class president and role in the varsity volleyball team. A presence in her community as well, Megan has helped her family run a hashtag Friends Who Give, a holiday event that has raised thousands for families in Mineola schools. She truly values academia and the relationship she has built with her teachers. Congratulations, Megan.
It is my pleasure to introduce Aleisea Itriy to the National Honor Society. Aleisea has been involved in many service projects within her community. She is passionate about helping people and making a positive impact in their lives. For example, when Aleisea volunteers at NYU Winthrop Hospital, She gets to talk to patients and lift their spirits. She knows that these small conversations bring joy during a difficult time. Volunteering at a hospital has helped Aleisea realize that life is so precious, and it's important to keep a positive attitude and a smile on your face, especially when facing adversity. Volunteering within her community has truly changed Aleisea's life for the better. Congratulations, Aleisea.
It is my pleasure to introduce Arianna Etry to the National Honor Society. One of Arianna's many accomplishments has been volunteering at NYU Winthrop University Hospital. Through this experience, she has learned the importance of stepping up when she is needed and the joy of helping others. This opportunity has helped her shape her into the person that she is becoming. Not only has this experience allowed her to help others, it has also helped pave the path to Arianna's future. Volunteering at NYU Winthrop has opened her eyes to the profession she wishes to pursue when she is older, nursing. Congratulations, Arianna.
It is my pleasure to introduce Nicolas Ramos to the National Honor Society. In addition to striving to obtain good academic standing, he has spent the past few years in school and extracurricular activities. He started getting involved in Latin Club in 8th grade, and in 9th grade he served as a role similar to vice president. He's found interest in the environmental club that was triggered by his participation in the beach cleanup, and now is a member of the MHS Environmental Club. His wrestling activities that started in middle school have led him to wrestling varsity matches in his freshman year. He assists his parents in providing care to his elderly grandmother, who unfortunately has health problems and mobility impairments. Congratulations, Nicolas.
I'm glad to introduce Saim Jabbar into the National Honor Society. He has been a role model in the classroom while still being able to be as outgoing as he is. He has participated in class activities, in sports, and in being a good character all throughout his Mineola High School career. Congratulations to Saim Jabbar.
It is with great pleasure that I introduce Jibin James into the National Honor Society. Jibin exhibits the qualities of being a leader inside and outside of school and paying it forward with the service he does. Jibin volunteers at 2 hospitals, and he does research after school where he is able to help others while enhancing his knowledge by gaining real-world exposure. It is important for him to learn from new experiences and contribute his diverse perspective to any challenge he faces. He's able to exhibit that at a program at Cohen's Children's Medical Center, where he's able to help identify health issues affecting his generation while also providing an adolescent perspective. Collaborating with others is important to him, and that is why he's a part of many clubs and does service activities here at Mineola High School whenever he can. Congratulations to Jibin James, and welcome to the National Honor Society.
It is my pleasure to induct Peggy Jones into the National Honor Society. Peggy has been a part of a lot of clubs during her high school career. She has also been the class secretary since 8th grade and the color guard captain since 9th grade. Peggy has also tutored classmates and family friends in English and math. Congratulations to Peggy.
It is my pleasure to introduce Jessica Kessler into the National Honor Society. She has dedicated many hours to activities like mock trial, color guard, drama, I Am That Girl, string ensemble, science bowl, and Spark. She's a proud member of the Key Club and spends her free time tutoring her peers. Congratulations, Jessica.
It is my pleasure to introduce Joshua Kessler into the National Honor Society. He has been a member of the school's mock trial team since he was a freshman, and now he is the president of the club. He has been involved in the Student Service Center doing lunch bunch with senior citizens and peer tutoring. He has also been an active member of the high school drama productions. Congratulations, Josh.
I'm proud to introduce Serena Kashi into the National Honor Society. She's been involved in many activities inside and outside of school. Serena has spent many hours tutoring and participating in service activities in the Student Service Center,
as well as playing on the varsity soccer and basketball teams. She was also selected for Athletes Helping Athletes in PE Leadership for her good leadership skills. Congratulations, Serena.
It is my honor to now introduce Aras Lahijani into the National Honor Society. Aras has shown multiple levels of excellence both in and out of the classroom throughout his entire high school career. He has volunteered countless hours at our Student Service Center, helping to make our community a better place. Thank you, Aras. Congratulations.
It's my pleasure to induct Delaney Landivar into the National Honor Society. She's been involved with the Student Service Center since 9th grade and was chosen to become vice president this year. Along with volunteering, her love for music shows through her participation in the pep band and the Mineola Marching Band, where she's been clarinet section leader since 10th grade. She's also been a proud member of the Mineola Drama Club and has been since the 9th grade. She was also inducted into Thespian Troupe 276. Delaney Landivar will be a great addition to the National Honor Society, not only because of her achievements, but also because of her kind heart, sense of humor, and her love for helping others. Congrats, Delaney.
It is my pleasure to induct Derek Lee into the National Honor Society. He is a very proud member of the first robotics competition team and helped the team qualify and compete in the World Championships 2 years in a row. Derek is also an active volunteer in the community through robotics and his church. Congratulations, Derek.
Anthony Letta has worked very hard throughout his high school career to get where he is today. Anthony is an avid member of the Music and Fine Arts Department at Mineola. Whilst juggling many extracurricular activities, such as crew for the drama productions, marching band, jazz band, big band photography club, he has continued to keep priority on his schoolwork, academics, and staying a part of his community. Congratulations, Anthony.
It is my pleasure to introduce Isabella Lopes into the National Honor Society. Isabel has been involved in countless service projects and has held various leadership roles on the Student Service Center board, such as Secretary and Vice President. She has also been the president of the Latin Club for the past 2 years as well. Isabel has also been a player on the JV and varsity girls soccer teams and has been a member of Athletes Helping Athletes since freshman year. She has spent her time volunteering outside of school at NYU Winthrop Hospital in their junior volunteer program since 2018. Isabel has enjoyed helping others and is dedicated to her school and her community. Congratulations, Isabel.
It's my pleasure to introduce Matthew Manovitz into the National Honor Society. Matthew is a young man who strives to always be kind and creative and is curious to learn for the sake of learning. He excels in many subjects, particularly mathematics, science, and music, and his extracurricular activities and community service revolve around music, art, and helping children. His rather unusual passions include music composition and creative mathematical problem solving. Congratulations, Matthew Manovitz.
It is with great pleasure that I induct Hannah Mangoyanu into the National Honor Society. She has been involved in many community activities for several years. She believes giving back to her community gives her a sense of pride and hopefully inspires others to give back as well. She also believes in advocating for those who cannot do so for themselves. She encourages others to stand up and be the voice for those who may not be able to speak for themselves. For Hannah, this is a vital role as a good member of society. Congratulations, Hannah.
From a young age, Gabriella has demonstrated a passion for helping others within her community. By being a part of the Student Service Center, local church, and camp convention, she has dedicated her time to help those who are less fortunate and bring a smile to their face. With the recent outbreak of COVID-19, Gabriella has even devoted her time by helping individuals who have been greatly affected in New York City. She is fearless and has proven to be selfless, even during this unprecedented time. by providing families with basic necessities who happen to be the most affected in their city, Hispanics. Congratulations, Gabriela Marquez.
I am pleased to introduce Ksenia Maratov into the National Honor Society. As a student intern with a tech teacher, she takes initiative to help students and faculty in need of help, showing creativity, responsibility, and leadership. She's also proud of the work she has done as CFO for the business club. Ksenia hopes to continue to show leadership and responsibility in the future for what is to come. Congratulations, Ksenia.
It is my pleasure to introduce Abby Meehan into the National Honor Society. She has been involved in both softball and volleyball through her years in the high school, proving herself to be a leader both on and off field/court. She has helped lead Mineola MA clinics to the community's Little League for 4 years by teaching younger girls. Abby has spent numerous hours taking part in the Student Service Center projects, along with volunteering at the Learning Loft on the weekends, where she spends her time hanging out with children with learning disabilities. She has demonstrated to the faculty and her peers that she is a hard-working and caring person in her years at Mineola High School. Congratulations, Abby Meehan.
Colleen is a standout student throughout Mineola High School, from volunteering at the Mary Brennan Inn to working the class fundraisers. Colleen has shown her dedication to service in many different forms. As well, Colleen has been a key player to the girls' basketball and lacrosse team for the last 3 years. She has demonstrated her leadership while being the JV captain of both of the teams during her sophomore year. Colleen is yet another amazing candidate to add to this year's National Honor Society class. Congratulations, Colleen Miller.
Now introducing Jennifer Modula to the National Honor Society. Within her schools and the Mineola community, she has participated in a TED Ed program on both local and global scales, served as a leader of a poetry slam program, spent her lunch periods contributing to the Student Service Center's lunch bunch sessions, and written for a newspaper and Mustang media broadcasts. Outside of school, she has written for a multitude of online publications and been recognized nationally for her content, while still spending her summers volunteering at her church's vacation Bible school. She has managed to combine her passions and with helping others, creating a life full of people and places that she loves. Congratulations, Jennifer.
It is a pleasure to induct Alexandra Mora into the Mineola High School chapter of the National Honor Society. Alexandra Mora is a junior with an enormous passion for the field of science. To foster this interest, she participates in the Environmental Club and Science Bowl, as well as the Science Club, for which she is vice president. She was recently awarded a scholarship in the Feinstein Institute of Northwell Health through the Advanced Women in Science and Medicine program. Alexandra has expanded her role within Children's Tumor Foundation through campaigns and fundraisers. She is also a member of the Color Guard and having participated in Marching Band and Winter Guard for multiple years. Alexandra is also currently in Girl Scout, working on her Gold Award and related to climate change. She hopes to continue exploring her interest in science research following her graduation. Congratulations, Alexandra Mora.
It would be my pleasure to induct Christopher Morandi into the National Honor Society. Chris has spent many years and many hours in the cancer care program fundraising money for an amazing cause, as well as participating in service projects, athletic service events, and the Student Service Center. Chris is a leader on the soccer field, being the captain on his team and a leader in the PE leadership program provided through the school. He is also a leader to his peers in school and to others in the community. Congratulations, Christopher Morandi.
It is my pleasure to introduce Kira Mulrooney to the National Honor Society. She has been involved in a variety of clubs and sports at the school. She has loved being on the basketball and softball teams for the last 3 years. She has also participated in the SAD Club, Environmental Club, Athletes Helping Athletes, and her all-time favorite, Student Service Center. She has been a member of this for the last 2 years, and this past year she was served on the board. She has spent a multitude of hours leading students at Jackson Avenue and the middle school brainstorming ideas to help students and the environment, hanging out with elderly people at the nursing home, teaching elders how to use technology, helping out at the Mary Brennan Inn, being a peer tutor, as well as being a member of the Community Interact and One World clubs. She has demonstrated her leadership abilities in clubs and sports in any way that she can. She is an extremely proud Mineola High School student, and she showed that this fall as she cheered on the football team as a Mineola Mustang. Congratulations, Kira Mulrooney.
Now introducing Emma Sullivan into the National Honor Society. Emma loves to donate her time doing volunteer work, including camp invention and class fundraisers. Emma is a member of the marching band and a member of the cheer team here at our school. Not only that, but she manages to balance her time to fit in all of her academic achievements. Emma continues to show great service and leadership, and she always strives to be the best she can be. We are so proud of her. Congratulations.
I would like to introduce Gianna into the National Honor Society. She has been involved in many departments all throughout high school and has devoted many hours helping others. Congratulations to Gianna.
It is with great pride that we introduce Neha Parambi into the National Honor Society. She has been an exemplary student in high school and has been involved in many clubs and community service projects. In addition to volunteering in school, she has committed her time outside of school as well by offering her time at clinics and being a junior volunteer at the hospital. At her core, she is a passionate young woman who is always looking to use her creativity to brighten up spaces. As a member of the class of 2021, she has consistently upheld the 4 pillars of the National Honor Society. Congrats, Neha.
Jillian Perino is excited to be inducted into the National Honor Society. She is most proud of her 4-year commitment to the MHS Robotics Club and for being named a 2020 NCWIT Aspirations Computing National Honorable Mention Award recipient. Jillian is equally proud of her dedication to playing varsity sports, including being on the boys varsity golf team, where she ranked 12th in the conference this year. She was also ranked 3rd on the Met PGA Junior Long Island Tour and a member of the winning team of the Tommy Kahn Cup Invitational in 2019. Congratulations, Jillian.
It is with my sincere gratitude that I welcome Stephen Pereira into the National Honor Society. Stephen has always worked hard for his community and Mineola High School. From playing his viola with the orchestra at the 2018 and 2019 graduation ceremonies to shoveling snow for those in his neighborhood, he's never afraid to take on a new challenge. He's also dedicated much of his time to helping his peers in any way he can, either with homework problems, life issues, or any other dilemma they may face. Congratulations, Stephen.
It is my pleasure to introduce Julia Purina. Julia is an active member of many school clubs, including the marching band and the track team. Since starting marching band in 9th grade, Julia has since become section leader of the mellophones. She is also involved in jazz band and pep band and is so grateful to her music friends and instructors. Congratulations.
Isabella Polanco is thankful for the opportunity to be inducted into the National Honor Society. She has learned strength and teamwork as a varsity girls soccer goalkeeper, earning the All-Conference Award in her junior year season. She also cherishes her experience as student organization treasurer and as a co-founder and anchor for the school's video news broadcast, The Mustang Media. Though she is saddened that we cannot celebrate all of the inductees' accomplishments in person, she looks forward to a time that we can all be together. Congratulations, Isabella.
It is my honor to introduce Nicolas Ramos into the National Honor Society. He has been a part of the Mineola athletic program throughout all of high school, playing football, baseball, and basketball, and has received 2 New York State Scholar Athlete Awards. Nicolas was also chosen to become a member of the Mineola High School's Physical Education Leadership Program. This program is made up of a group of select students who demonstrate the characteristics of being a leader in their everyday lives. He takes pride in his schoolwork and has been a part of the high honor roll consistently throughout high school. He has volunteered in many service projects that have benefited the community and has also spent time with the Student Service Center helping with Lunch Bunch. Overall, Nicolas displays strong leadership qualities on and off the field and has always devoted many hours to his sports teams, schoolwork, and community. Congratulations, Nick.
I'm happy to introduce Anthony Raconda, a budding young artist and avid photographer. He enjoys playing basketball, watching football, and he is always searching for the newest or unique pair of sneakers to add to his ever-growing collection. Anthony takes pride in working for his favorite baseball team, the New York Mets, and is involved with video projection for his church, as well as mentoring young boys through the Christian Service Brigade at New Hyde Park Baptist Church. Congratulations, Anthony.
It's a pleasure to introduce Julie Rodriguez. Julie has been involved in the Student Service Center. She has also volunteered as a camp counselor at Camp Invention for the past 2 summers. She has spent countless hours volunteering at the local animal shelter Pets for Love, providing proper care to abandoned cats. Julie is a leader in the classroom and most importantly in the community. Congratulations, Julie Rodriguez.
It is my pleasure to introduce Justin Rodriguez into the National Honor Society. He has been involved in many community service activities and has put many hours into our community to make Mineola a better place. He is always willing to help those around him in the classroom, the lacrosse field, and even his community. Congratulations to Justin Rodriguez.
It is a pleasure to introduce James Santinello into the National Honor Society. He has been involved in many school athletic and art events, is a contributor to the class, and an overall helper to the community. Congrats, James.
It is my pleasure to introduce Mettre Santini into the National Honor Society. Mettre arrived in this country and started Mineola High School in September of 2018. The move from her home in Rome to this new one in Mineola was a challenge. She is very happy and grateful to have conquered her shyness and to learn a new language. She takes pride in her academic achievements and, most of all, has engaged in many activities with the Student Service Center. Congratulations, Mettre.
It is my pleasure to introduce Anna Victoria Cernan into the National Honor Society. She has spent many summers volunteering in Jackson Heights, New York, where she helps senior citizens exercise their right to vote by organizing an annual voting registration project in Regal Heights, a local nursing home. She has been an intern for the New York City Council member Daniel Drum and done constituent service work in his district office, helping her to foster her passions for community service and public advocacy. In school, she is a section leader for the a cappella choir, a member of several musical performing groups and honor choirs, and an officer for Key Club and the student leader for I Am That Girl. She is also part of Mineola's thespian troupe and can be found singing and acting on stage year-round. She strives to lead and serve for her community whenever she can, and would like to thank her family for their unconditional support over the years. Congratulations, Anna Victoria.
Caitlyn has spent large amounts of her time in high school dedicated to community service and helping the environment as much as possible. She dedicated time to picking up garbage around the school during Earth Day cleanups and put as many service hours into helping out at her grandmother's church. Along with this, she also spent hours playing in the chamber ensemble since middle school, playing for Lunch Bunch. Caitlyn was motivated to help her community all throughout high school. Congratulations, Caitlyn.
It is my honor to introduce Myosin Blonde into the National Honor Society. She is extremely dedicated to all of her academic and extracurricular activities. Maya is currently an active member of the Chamber Orchestra, Marching Band, and Drama Club. Additionally, Maya is a part of the student staff for the 2020 marching band season. She will continue to demonstrate her devotion and optimism to the community. Congratulations to Myosin Blonde on being a member of the National Honor Society.
Justin is very honored to be inducted into the National Honor Society. He is proud to be recognized for his academic achievement. Justin also feels that his volunteering at his church's Vacation Bible School program has helped him to grow as a person. Likewise, serving as the captain of the boys' junior varsity soccer team helped him gain an appreciation for mentoring his younger teammates. He looks forward to his senior year and the chance to be united with all his peers and teachers in the fall. Congratulations, Justin.
Renault is an exceptional and humble student who tries to get better as a person every day. He has been involved in several clubs such as Latin Club and the Environmental Club and puts a lot of effort into everything he does. He's a hardworking student and an exceptional leader. When he teaches religion class for 9th graders on Sunday, Renault has shown his dedication to the school and people in need as he has participated in activities such as Mini Macaroni Night and Reasons to Smile. Congratulations to him as he completely deserves to be inducted into the National Honor Society.
It is my honor to announce Brianna Thompson to the National Honor Society. Brianna is dedicated to community service and strengthening peer relationships. Her participation in such efforts have enhanced her performance as both a student and an athlete. Congratulations, Brianna Thompson.
It is with great pleasure that I introduce Ian Timoteo Franza into the National Honor Society. Ian has been an active member at Mineola High School, representing his class, the class of 2021, as vice president, being a consistent contributor to the string ensemble and mathletes team, and exploring his passion for writing in the TED Ed Club and Poetry Slam Club. Ian is also a member of the Triumph Honor Society. Outside of the high school, Ian is an active member in his church's worship team and youth group, where he explores his passion for music and unity and dedicates his time of service. In addition, Ian has spent some time working as a tutor in elementary mathematics and English, as well as beginner piano, and has truly felt joy in seeing his students grow in their craft. Above everything he has done, Ian is most thankful for all of the opportunities he has received to impact people and to make a difference on the world. Ian is extremely grateful for the people who helped him get to where he is today. Congratulations, Ian.
It is my honor to introduce Jenny Zhang. She excels as a camp intervention leadership intern. She is kind, responsible, and most importantly, a role model for the young campers. Her efforts not only show that she was willing to give up her free time this past summer, but also every event possible that was held in the Student Service Center. Her effort to show up to each event is unimaginable. She always tries to find time to lend a helping hand, whether after or during school. She is very attentive when working with others and enjoys each event that she signed up for, especially when she had attended to help out the Nassau County Bar Association on Christmas break. She always tries to find time in her busy schedule to help the community and excels in her job. Congratulations, Jenny Zhang.
Juniors and seniors, please join us in reciting the National Honor Society Induction Pledge, which is in your program.
Please repeat after me. I pledge myself to uphold the high principles of the society to which I have been elected.
I pledge to maintain a high scholastic standing, to hold as fundamental and worthy and untarnished character, to give myself freely in service to others,
to endeavor intelligently and courageously to be a leader. I will strive in every way, by word and deed,
to make its ideals the ideals of my school and of my life.
Congratulations to the class of 2021.
Welcome to the Mineola High School's chapter of the National Honor Society.
May you continue to uphold the long legacy of excellence in scholarship, leadership, character, and service the society has exemplified.
The students inducted here tonight exemplify these words because they hold the best combination of not only scholarship, but of the application of that scholarship through service, leadership, and character, so as to make our world a better place.
Congratulations to all, and a special thank you to the parents, family members, and friends who helped shape the wonderful students being inducted here tonight.
That concludes our ceremony for tonight. Good night.